Hi guys, what are we gonna do today? I bet you can guess. We're gonna make this fun mixed media project. So let's get started.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm taking watercolor paper. I don't think it really would matter what you use, just something a little heavier. You could even do it on a board if you would like. And then what I'm doing is I am using my recycled paper, and this is journal blocks. And I'm going to use this section right here because it's a nice neutral color, and I think this is just so pretty. To decoupage this onto the front. So I'm using my decoupage medium, and this is just a mixture of a Mod Podge and a gel medium, but use your favorite medium that you have. And I'm actually just going to put this on this paper. And because I'm not spraying the back of my decoupage paper, I am gonna get some wrinkles in this. If I would have sprayed it with some water, it probably would help the paper stretch ahead of time and wouldn't wrinkle as much, but I don't mind this on this piece. I'm gonna get a little bit of wrinkle, but I'm getting it down fairly quickly. I'm gonna let this dry, and then we are going to trim the edges. So I'm gonna trim these edges off right here, the excess. And because this is just on a piece of heavy paper, I'm just gonna cut it. And then I can also see if there's a few little edges here that didn't get adhered as well. Just tack those down. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna be using my clear gesso, and I am just gonna seal the top of this paper. And this is gonna wanna reactivate your paper and maybe make it wrinkle a little more again. So I am just gonna let this dry, and then we'll move on. Okay, so this is dry. What I'm gonna do to make this wreath is I'm gonna draw 2 half circles. I'm just using this pot. Now, if you wanted a circular wreath, you could just do a big circle and do the same concept. But I'm gonna do 2 halves. So I'm gonna do from here around, and then also here around. And I'm just gonna use a pencil, a light pencil. So it's going rounded here, and it's going rounded here. So what I'm gonna do next to do my leaves, I'm gonna show you how I do this. So whether you're doing it completely circular or doing something like this, or bigger or smaller, this is how I did this. I'm going to take my pencil and lightly draw lines that come up at an angle. One on that side, one on this side. Here we go. And on this side, I'm gonna go this way. So what I'm gonna do at each of these angles, I'm just gonna draw a leaf shape. What I'm gonna do is, here's this line. I'm gonna pretend this is the center. And I may go off a little, but that's okay. So I'm going in, out, and in, and again. This side, I'm going in, out, and in. And I'm doing this very loosely, just like that. And I'm gonna draw that around all of my lines I've drawn. I'm gonna turn my paper this way and do them this way now. There we go. Now we're gonna start watercoloring. So all I'm gonna be doing is using 3 types of green. And you could use 1 green, 2, 3. One's a lighter green, a medium, and this is called sap green, but you can use whatever you would like. That's a sap green. And then we're gonna start with that. I am taking this very point of this brush and just going to go around all of my leaves and loosely fill in. And be careful you don't get your hand in your wet paint or you will move it. So you can see I've watered this down quite a bit. You don't want it so runny that it starts running all over your page though. I'm just gonna fill all these in. What I do next is I'm gonna use my Perline green, and it is just a little bit darker. I'm gonna just go down one side of the leaf. I've been learning some of these techniques from Lexi, and we'll have a link below. She can explain all the highlighting and all of the ins and outs of watercolor. Now I'm gonna mix a little bit of my two colors and real quickly just draw this line with the very tip of this. Just draw around where this wreath is. And if you're really concerned, you could get your rubber eraser and erase all your pencil marks. I'm not concerned at all with those, so I'm just leaving those. Okay, the next color, the last color I'm gonna use, and this is called Rich Green Gold. I think this is really, really pretty, and it just gives me my little highlights. It's got this beautiful gold tint to it. And I'm gonna use this on the lighter side. I don't even mind that it just kind of pulls up a little bit. Now, if you want to go back through and add any more dark or light, this is the time to do it. Just to go on a few little edges if you feel like it, or to do a line in the center, just whatever you would like. As your watercolor paint dries, it will get much, much lighter. So if you want a darker definition, after it completely dries, you need to go back over a bit. So we're just gonna let this dry. So this is dry. What I wanna do next is I wanna seal this. I do not wanna use a brush sealer over the watercolor because it can reactivate the paint and move it all around. So I'm gonna be using this workable fixative, and I'm just gonna spray this on there, let it dry, then I'm going to brush a sealer on. This really does have a strong odor. So it's probably one of the few things I will do outside. I will just do a quick spray over it and let it dry, and then we'll brush seal it. So the fixative is dry, so I am using my polyacrylic crystal clear sealer, and I now can brush this over the top because I'm gonna be putting my transfers on here and doing some other inking and distressing. So I just wanna make sure it's sealed really well. And then we're just gonna let this dry. So I'm gonna ink this now. I'm just using my permanent micron, and it's an 01, and it's just a black fine tip. And I'm gonna do this real loosely, and all I'm doing is going around these leaves. And I'm just drawing that little line in the middle of the leaf also. But you could add as much or as little, or not even do this. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw this vine, and I'm just gonna do some strokes. We are gonna start adding our transfers, and you could add whatever you would like. So you could just stamp a word. You could just leave it the way it is. I thought I would like to add fun transfers. This is from my Whispering Willows, and I wanted to use some of these. I love the coloring in these, but also the whimsical look of them. And I know this fox is kind of big. So I know I'm gonna use this fox in here, but I'm gonna do a few things in the background. So I'm gonna kind of layer a few things that I'm gonna put back here so I know what pieces I would like. So I think I'm gonna start with this mushroom here. And these are all from my Whispering Willows transfer. And because I sealed this, it's coming off very, very nicely. Now I am gonna put my fox down, and then I have a few things behind him. And burnish it down really well. When it comes off so easy, then you really gotta make sure you burnish it down well. So I'm just gonna add a fun little quote onto this to finish it up, and I'm just cutting apart some words. So now we're gonna stamp this, age it, and seal it. So I'm gonna use my Vintage Textures Crackle Chippy Paint stamp. It's one of the 4 vintage textures. And I'm just gonna go over this. And then I'm gonna take my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, and I'm mostly gonna go just around the edges. I put all this on here, so now I'm just gonna put my polyacrylic, one more layer of this sealer, and it's just gonna move some of the antiquing around, and it seals my transfers and brightens everything up. And then we're just gonna let this dry, and we are done.
So I hope you guys thought this was kind of fun, and I hope you can take a few of these ideas or tips or tricks and use them yourself in whatever you're doing. We'll also have a link down below showing you where you can find Lexi, because she really is a master at watercolor. But I had so much fun coming up with this project, so I hope you enjoyed it. But whatever you do, have fun.